On March 20th, 2023, officers from the Everman Police Department knocked on the door at 3700 Wisteria Drive. They were there for a routine welfare check on a 6-year-old boy named Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez. The house was full of people. Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, the boy's mother, was calm, professional even. She told officers that Noel was safe in Mexico with his biological father, Mariano Alvarez Contreras. She provided specific dates, specific details, a performance so convincing that the officers filed their report and left. But for Cindy, there were some underlying issues.
It's Danzig, baby.
So, within 48 hours, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, her husband, Rodriguez-Singh, and 6 of their children were on a flight to India. Well, behind them was a $10,000 theft from a company safe, a freshly poured concrete patio, and a 6-year-old boy who hadn't been seen alive since October 2022. Okay, so now we fast forward 2 years later. On July 1st, 2025, the FBI made Cindy Rodriguez-Singh the 537th person added to the 10 most wanted fugitives list. But here's what makes this case historically significant. She became only the 12th person in the 75-year history of that list. To understand here why the FBI deployed this level of resources, you need to understand who Noel was, and what his mother believed him to be. The boy, Noel, was born on February 2nd, 2017, at just 23 weeks premature. One of the most extreme cases of prematurity that can result in survival here. The boy, he weighed barely over a pound. His lungs weren't developed, and he really required supplemental oxygen and would need intensive medical care for the rest of his life, unfortunately. So in life, he was already set up for many difficulties. So going back again, between 2020 and late 2021, Noel lived with a foster mother named Patricia Paris. In interviews after his disappearance, she described the boy as sweet, fragile, and loving. Despite his chronic lung disease and developmental delays, she saw a child who deserved care, and who most importantly deserved a life. But in December 2021, the state of Texas made a decision that would prove extremely fatal, and to be a massive mistake overall. They returned Noel to Cindy Rodriguez-Singh. Again, the worst thing they could have done. Patricia here tried to maintain contact, but Cindy slowly cut her off over time. Her phone calls started to go unanswered, and eventually she just got blocked entirely by her. The last confirmed sighting of Noel alive was actually in mid-October 2022, at a hospital where Cindy was giving birth to twins. Medical staff there actually noted that Noel appeared unhealthy and malnourished, but nobody from that hospital reported it to the authorities. So honestly, wow. But by November 2022, just weeks later, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh actually applied for passports for every one of her children except Noel. According to the family members and witnesses interviewed by the FBI here, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh didn't see Noel's medical challenges as a health issue. She saw them purely as spiritual. She allegedly referred to Noel as evil and demon-possessed, and feared he would harm her newborn twins. She told family members he brought her nothing but bad luck. This wasn't a hidden belief of hers of any kind, it was actually documented by multiple witnesses who would later speak to the investigators. Which honestly, the poor boy really didn't have much luck in life, except for Patricia, who genuinely seemed to care about the boy and really love him as well, despite all of his shortcomings, unfortunately. As well as that, it really seemed that the state of Texas on top of this made an absolutely colossal mistake, which will most likely haunt them for the rest of their lives. We can only imagine. Cindy also allegedly told family members here a different story completely. That she had sold Noel to a woman in a Fiesta Mart parking lot. Wow, what a story. Her brother, Cantarino Rodriguez, reported this claim to the police. Investigators found no evidence of trafficking, no witnesses, no transaction. It appears to have been another cover story in the series of lies designed to explain away Noel being a missing child. So now, let's talk about what premeditation actually looks like. So November 1st to the 2nd, 2022, passport applications filed for all of the children except Noel, as I mentioned. The same month, he was also last seen alive. But in March 2023, Cindy pays out of pocket to have a 15 by 30 foot concrete patio installed in her backyard. Weird considering she was just about to leave, right? Well, she had no permit, no explanation for why a family claiming to be broke would invest in a home improvement right before an international trip. On March 20th, 2023, the welfare check, Cindy's performance, her claim that Noel is safe in Mexico with his father, Mariano Alvarez Contreras, a man who was deported years earlier and had never even met his son. But in March 21st, 2023, Rodriguez-Singh, Cindy's husband, disposes of a large carpet in a dumpster. Security cameras capture this, and that carpet would later become crucial evidence for the police to prosecute Cindy and Arshdeep Singh. Next, on March 22nd, 2023, in the morning, Arshdeep Singh goes to his workplace, AGHA Enterprises, a convenience store in Asla, Texas. He opens the company safe and steals $10,000 in cash, in which he immediately deposits $8,000 into a bank account, and the remaining $2,000 will fund the plane tickets, which in part is what seemingly covered the new concrete patio as well that they had recently done, although of course most people were suspicious at the fact that a family that wasn't very well off spent $10,000 to get a new patio right before they were leaving. And of course, most definitely the red flags did go off here because of this. And on March 22nd, 2023, in the evening, the family boards a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport to Istanbul in Turkey. Operated by Turkish Airlines from Istanbul, they connected to the New Delhi airport in India. This wasn't a panicked escape of any kind, it was a multi-layered international route designed to make their tracking nearly impossible to the police back in America. So after this, on March 25th, 2023, an Amber Alert is finally issued for them. By this time, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh has already way past cleared the customs in New Delhi. The window to stop her didn't just close, it had been massively slammed shut by the $10,000 stolen in cash and a 24-hour head start compared to everyone back in America trying to find what happened, and especially trying to figure out what happened to Noel as well. So fast forward later on, and the FBI didn't just investigate the Mexico story, they absolutely verified it to the absolute maximum. Agents tracked down Mariano Alvarez Contreras, Noel's biological father, who had been deported to Mexico years before Noel was born. He told investigators that he had actually never even met his son, despite Cindy saying he was living with him, and he didn't know what Noel looked like, and he had no idea he was even missing. There were no border crossings, no bus tickets here at all. There were absolutely no travel records of any kind showing that a 6-year-old matching Noel's description ever entering Mexico. Cindy here hadn't just lied, she'd chosen a man living 500 miles away across an international border as a convenient black hole to hide her son's disappearance. Overall, the town of Everman did not wait for investigations to conclude. Shortly after, they built a playground at the Clyde Pittman Park and dedicated it on November 20th, 2023, and they named it the Noel Angel Alvarez Playground, pointedly stripping away the Rodriguez to sever his connection to the woman who abandoned him. Safe to say the people of Everman, they longed to know what happened to the boy and wanted to honor his name for the little amount of life he had, which was honestly really nice to see that they did. So later on October 30th, 2023, a Tarrant County grand jury indicted Cindy Rodriguez-Singh for capital murder of a person under 10 years of age. Here she was sent 2 counts of injury to a child, abandoning a child without intent to return, and also leaving a child without proper care. On November 2nd, 2023, federal prosecutors added the charge that would keep her behind bars indefinitely: unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. A massive federal crime here that ensures that she cannot bond out while the murder case is being built against her. Then came July 1st, 2025. The FBI massively escalated here, and Cindy Rodriguez-Singh was added to the 10 most wanted fugitives list with a $250,000 reward on her head to find her or her family or anyone that could connect to her and get her in contact, which by the way was up from the initial $25,000 Crime Stoppers reward. She became the 537th person on that list, and only the 12th woman in its 75-year history. That level of attention makes you expensive to hide. Just like I discussed in the Ruja Ignatova video before, if you're running away, you're going to need a lot of money, of course, especially if you've committed a crime. So here, the pressure massively works, and in mid-August 2025, in a coordinated operation between the FBI, Interpol, and Indian authorities, Cindy here was apprehended in New Delhi. She wasn't hiding out in a remote village, she was living among millions in one of the world's most crowded cities. So, on August 21st, 2025, the FBI was very happy to announce, I imagine, the return of her to US custody. She was later booked into the Tarrant County Jail on a $10 million bond, one of the highest in county history on record. So, here's what makes the case very legally complex and in very muddy waters as well. Noel's body has never actually been discovered. The absence of a body doesn't mean absence of evidence here. On March 30th to the 31st, 2023, investigators used sonar to scan the freshly poured concrete patio. On April 10th to 11th, they excavated it entirely, and cadaver dogs from the Texas Search and Rescue Organization were brought in to see what they could find. The dogs here were alerted to the topsoil directly underneath the patio. These same dogs actually alerted to the carpet as well that Arshdeep Singh had disposed of in a dumpster the night before the family had fled to New Delhi. The forensic testing on that same carpet actually found traces of human remains as well. No body here, but a slight scent of death with physical traces on top of it. A timeline that shows that a woman who paid for concrete to be poured over her backyard backyard just days before fleeing the country. Texas, though, a no-body murder conviction is one of the hardest cases to prosecute. The defense will argue that tracers aren't proof of death, that cadaver dogs can also be wrong, that without a body you can't prove murder, beyond a reasonable doubt of course. But honestly, prosecutors have built cases on less. The capital murder indictment was issued with a manner and means unknown to the grand jury. Legal language that acknowledges that they don't know exactly how Noel died, but the totality of evidence supports the charge. So as of today, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh sits in the Tarrant County Jail on a $10 million bond after she was caught not too long ago. Facing capital murder charges, her husband, Arshdeep Singh, also faces charges relating to help her flee. The trial date has not been set yet, and well, most importantly, Noel, his potential body, has never been recovered despite searches covering over 200 acres of land. The search for Noel has not stopped. Subscribe if you're interested in this style of content, please let me know, and leave a comment if you're interested on any other cases you'd like to see me go over. Noel Angel Rodriguez-Alvarez. He deserved better overall than what he got, and to be honest, the least we can do is remember his name.